I pre-ordered the Sony FX30 once it was announced and have been enjoying this camera for paid and personal projects and of course YouTube. I want to share my top 5 reasons you may want to pick this up for yourself for your YouTube videos. Welcome to the Elevate Project. I'm Ryan and I'm sharing what I like about the Sony FX30 and might be some reasons for you to buy this as well. I recently released a video, do not buy the Sony FX30 for beginners, and if you want to watch that video after this one, the link will be in the description below. This is the flip side, and sharing not only my top 5 reasons, but also the reasons why I love this camera and don't regret purchasing it. I'm actually using it right now for this video. Okay, a few disclaimers. I am not by any means a professional videographer, cinematographer, and I have only been shooting YouTube videos for the past year, mostly on the Sony ZV-E10, which is a camera I absolutely love. I love filming YouTube videos for personal projects and most recently paid projects. I am a hobbyist at best and have grown a passion and curiosity for videography and purchased the Sony FX30 as my new main camera for this YouTube channel. I haven't yet mastered this camera and still learning and sharing what I have learned with all of you. I won't rehash every spec of this camera. I have a few videos in the description and lots of videos here on YouTube that you can watch that go over every feature and specification. With that out of the way, I hope some, if not all I have to share, will help you if you're looking to buy this camera. The very first reason why I wanted this camera and has proven to be a great camera for me is that it is video focused first. The ergonomics, the 1/4-inch threads, the button layouts, and of course the tally lights are focused on video. I absolutely love this because my main reason to purchase this camera was for YouTube and other video projects. Yes, it does take photos and it does do it quite well. Funny enough, because I was testing out the photo capabilities of the FX30, I started to take notes and started to learn more about photography and now taking it more seriously. There are some limitations for the Sony FX30 versus hybrid and dedicated photography-focused cameras like burst mode and a mechanical shutter. If you need to take some quick shots for thumbnails or product shots, the FX30 can do the job if needed. Second reason I purchased this camera was 4K 10-bit. The ability to shoot 4K in 60 frames per second and 120 frames per second in 10-bit was something I wanted, and to shoot in S-Log3 and color grade to shape the look and feel. Yes, there is a slight crop at 60 frames per second and more crop at 120 frames per second. That ability and option to shoot at 4K, 120 frames per second is awesome to have. The 10-bit is a step up from my Sony ZV-E10, which can only shoot in 8-bit. Now, using the Sony FX30, have to say 8-bit is still awesome for most types of shooting, like talking head videos like this one. The third reason I wanted this camera is on top of it being video focused and part of Sony's cinema line of cameras, 4K 10-bit at 24, 30, 60, and even 120 frames per second, IBIS or in-body image stabilization, and I can use all the lenses I purchased for the Sony ZV-E10 and utilize those lenses with this Sony FX30. I know, the battle between full frame versus crop is real, and honestly, I was heavily debating upgrading to a full frame camera, specifically the Sony A7 IV to get 10-bit, and just the thought and cost of the new camera body and lenses were too hard for me to pull the trigger earlier. Then this camera was announced, the Sony FX30, and I was sold. Yes, I know there are huge advantages to full frame, and for my current use for YouTube and personal projects, I was happy with the video quality of my Sony ZV-E10, and even happier with the Sony FX30, even though I am still learning to get the look and feel I am happy with. Shooting various types of video, and even a paid project, I am loving the flexibility to push colors and different looks and feel to a scene. The fourth reason is to buy, and not necessarily one of the reasons that I wanted this camera, is the plug and play to use this camera as a webcam. With the right USB-C cable, you get 1080p at 60 frames per second without needing a capture card. This has been handy as I used to use my Sony A5100 connected to a dummy battery and to an Elgato Camlink capture card for my Zoom meetings. Now with the Sony FX30, I just plug it into my USB-C cable and I'm good to go, which has been a lifesaver in busy situations when I have to quickly jump onto a Zoom call. The last and fifth reason I have to share is cost. Not going to lie, everything I have looked at wanting 4K 10-bit 422, 24 to 120 frames per second, IBIS, and dual base ISO all were priced much higher than this camera, which at this time of this video is $17.99 USD just for the body. This by far has a lot of value based on the cost in comparison to what is available today. The bonus for me is that I have lenses I purchased for my Sony ZV-E10 and have a great selection of lenses to choose from Tamron, Viltrox, Sigma, Sony, and more because of the Sony E-mount system. Of course, there are other small reasons why I love this camera, and I will share those reasons in future videos. And I'll be one to admit, as much as I love this camera, the Sony FX30 is not perfect, like its low light capabilities. And because of the value, just be aware of its limitations, be creative with your lighting and surroundings, and personally think the low light is pretty good, just not as good as some full-frame cameras. Unlike my Sony ZV-E10, if you are new to cameras and a beginner, it does have a little bit of a higher learning curve versus the Sony ZV-E10. So those are my top 5 reasons to buy the Sony FX30. I would love to hear your thoughts and add them to the comments below. If you found value in this video, you know what to do. It truly helps support the channel. And if you like the content like this one, make sure to watch these videos over here. Be safe, stay awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one.